Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching a special edition of the Political Stock Exchange. Over the next 1 hour, we will be doing a one-of-its-kind probability analysis, looking very carefully at the chances of Narendra Modi being elected Prime Minister once again. Also looking at the probability of the Mahagathbandhan coming back to power. Now, how have we done this probability analysis? It's important for me to take a moment to explain that to you. We've used all the aggregated data collected over the past 6 months in the India Today group, Access My India Political Stock Exchange. Then we engaged a very well-known mathematician, a statistician and a psephologist by the name of Rajiv Kharandikar to do this probability analysis for us. He has done multiple opinion polls. He has a one-of-his-kind model where he uses the vote share, the seat share data available, extrapolates to try and give us the best sense possible of the one question everybody wants an answer to. Kiski sarkar banegi. We won't give you votes and seats. We will give you a probable who is likely to form the government in May 2019. Joining us for this special discussion, I want to introduce first Rajiv Kharandikar. He's the director of the Chennai Mathematical Institute since 2010. He's a well-known psephologist and has been part of multiple opinion polls. With us is Sanjay Kumar, lead psephologist of CSDS. They've done an opinion poll of their own and we'll get a sense of what his numbers are looking like. We've also got Nilanjan Sarkar joining us from the United States. He's also an election analyst. We've sent the same PSC data to him. He's been running his own numbers and he'll give us a sense of whether he agrees with what Rajiv Kharandikar is showing or not. And for a political perspective on this broadcast, we're joined at this time by Nalin Kohli of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and squaring off against him is Shama Mohammed of the Congress. So welcome to all our guests. I want to walk across and show you the one response that everybody wants an answer to. Who is going to form a government? What is the probability analysis looking like? Let's just take that and then we'll get Rajiv Kharandikar to explain how he's done these numbers. So let me show you now, and I'll start with the NDA getting a majority, and the NDA and the UP are defined by all the parties who are part of this alliance at this moment. Rajiv Kharandikar estimates for the India Today group that at this moment, with just 1 day to go for campaigning to end and for 3 days to go for the first phase of polling to start, the NDA has a 50% chance of coming back to power. That's a pretty solid probability if you understand numbers and statistics well. That means 1 in 2 chances are that Narendra Modi is going to be Prime Minister once again. So what's the chance that NDA will get 250 seats, which means come very close to being able to form the government, or come within striking range of forming a government? According to Rajiv Kharandikar, there is a 72% chance of the NDA crossing the 250 mark. That means 3 in 4 chances are that the NDA will cross the 250 mark, and if they cross the 250 mark, they'll find the other 22 odd seats required to be able to form the government. That means there's a 3 in 4 chance that Narendra Modi will be Prime Minister again. What's the probability of the NDA staying less than 220? There's only a 9% chance of the NDA staying less than 220. If they are anywhere less than 220, that's when Plan B comes into effect. Will there be another BJP candidate who gets involved, who's pushed up to be Prime Minister? There's only a 9% chance of that happening. 50% chance of the NDA getting a majority, 72% chance of the NDA getting within striking distance. So Rajiv Kharandikar, at the outset, can you explain to our viewers why you believe that at this moment there's almost a 50% chance of the NDA in its current avatar forming a government and a 72% chance that they'll come very close to forming the government?
Yeah. So Rahul, as you know, the Axis poll data that I had access to and which I have used to make this analysis is quite different from the traditional opinion poll which I have been doing and with Sanjay ji and CSDS over the years, where we ask the people who will they vote for. Here that question is avoided, and instead we are asked who is your choice of Prime Minister. And so what we have to do from here is first get an estimate or guess what percentage of votes the parties may get, and from there we go to the vote to seat conversion. Now, this is more or less the easier part here is the states where Congress and BJP are in direct fight with each other, like in Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh. There is no third significant player. Or in states where NDA and UPA, so BJP and Congress with their allies are in direct fight with each other. So it is Maharashtra. Or Bihar. Now, in these states, if you look at, let me take a look at Gujarat, where Mr. Modi is the choice of 53% against 35 for Rahul Gandhi. Now, if we try to interpret this as the vote share for the respective parties, we will be way off the mark. More or less, we can be sure that BJP is not going to get over 50% votes in Gujarat. In fact, whereas in almost all states, Narendra Modi is the choice of more than 50%. So how do we interpret this number? Well, so my first proposition is that those who are saying Narendra Modi as their choice, they are not going to vote Congress and vice versa. Those who are saying Rahul Gandhi is the choice, they are not going to vote BJP. However, everybody who said Narendra Modi is not going to vote BJP.
Okay.
So based on that, my assessment is that if the observed gap is here 16%, I assess that the gap in the vote shares is about 10%, 2/3 of this. Once I have made this assessment, I take it to my old vote seat conversion model, apply the swing there, convert the seat estimates into vote estimates into seats, and come out with numbers for each state.
Okay, I want to get a sense from Sanjay Kumar, because you've been doing your own very rigorous polling on the ground. A 72% chance of the NDA coming within striking distance means at this moment it's almost pretty certain that Narendra Modi is likely to be Prime Minister once we have the results on the 23rd of May.
No, I would agree. I would say why 72%? In my own assessment, it could be even more, but Rajiv Karandikar has done a statistical analysis of that. I won't hesitate to say even 80% chances of NDA coming very close to the striking figure, which is very close to the majority.
Sanjay ji, I didn't have the data you have. My assessment is based on the Axis data.
Sure. No, these are probabilities.
Yeah,
so 72 could be 88 or 72 could even be 68%.
Yeah.
But I think NDA is very close to a majority mark.
At this moment, with just the first phase of polling hours away, quite literally, our experts are saying that the NDA is tantalizingly close to getting a majority by itself. Things, of course, could change over the next few weeks. We'll discuss what could change in a moment from now. But I want to get opening comments from Nilanjan Sarkar in the United States. Sitting where you are, looking at this Indian election, and you've done your own numbers. I know through the week we had multiple conversations around that. Are you in agreement with Rajiv Karandikar's analysis that there is a 50% chance of NDA getting a majority by itself and a 3 in 4 chance of NDA coming very close to forming the government by itself?
So yeah, I mean, looking at these numbers and looking at what we've seen in the political stock exchange, I think I would agree with Rajiv ji that, look, you know, we can argue about whether the number is 65% or 80%, but looking at the numbers, it looks like the NDA is quite a bit ahead of the UPA and various other regional actors in terms of forming government. So, you know, a number that says 3/4 of a chance of the NDA forming majority or coming quite close to it seems quite reasonable by looking at this kind of data. The only thing that I would say is that, you know, the challenge, I think, and you know, we're dealing with people who've been doing this for a very long time. The challenge we have with working with this kind of data is looking at just these numbers and trying to project based on the relative popularity of Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, how people are going to vote in this election is quite a challenging task. It's ultimately not who are you voting for, it's how popular are you, right? And we know that based on sort of underlying sort of ground realities that the Prime Minister is a very, very popular person, right? And we don't know differentially how that translates to the vote on the ground. And so this is a very demanding exercise. But that being said, looking at the numbers, it does look like the NDA is quite ahead.
Nalin Kohli, if there's someone, I don't know if you're a betting man or how much you understand of probability and statistics, but if you're fond of fascinated by numbers like I am, a 3 in 4 chance is a very strong chance, which means at this moment, using a 6-month aggregate of the PSE data, there's a 3 in 4 chance of the NDA coming tantalizingly close to being able to form the government in its current avatar, Nalin.
Rahul, I think it's really obvious from a political perspective. I'm not going to get into the numbers of it because the experts on your panel are really doing that, talking about the probability and data crunching. But if I look at it from a political perspective, there's clarity who the leader is. There's a track record over 5 years. There is in front of you no clear option in that sense. The Congress by itself is not seen to be a force that can take on the BJP. In the Mahagathbandhan, they are not a player. They are in fact ousted in many places, or they've chosen to fight against some of the so-called constituents. The Mahagathbandhan isn't real on a national level. So therefore, when you put all of these together, the leadership and the charisma of the incumbent, which is Prime Minister Narendra Modi, his performance over 5 years, is in terms of looking at what the difference is between 14 and 19, and you look at the lack of an alternative or the nature of the alternative that's before us, it seems that the NDA is almost certain to come back to power.
Shama Mohammed, this isn't good news from the Congress's perspective. You were hoping that post the announcement of Nyay, the Congress would be able to make a bit of a comeback. There's only a 9% chance, according to Rajiv Karandikar's probability assessment, that the NDA will stay below 220. Therefore, whether they end up at 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280 or more, the chances are that come the 23rd of May, there's a 90% chance that Narendra Modi is likely to be Prime Minister once again.
Rahul, we are going to fight, and we are fighting on real issues on the ground, not these polls which are conducted on television channels. We don't know what are the sample surveys for these, who is involved, so these are really, let's look at the 2004 polls itself. I have it right in front of me. Aaj Tak predicted for NDA 284 seats. That's your channel. NDTV 230 seats, Star News 263 seats. But what happened? Where did we ended up with? They ended up with 187, and the UP ended up with 218. So that was a sure win for the Bharatiya Janata Party or the NDA in 2004. In fact, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee called for an early election, if you remember clearly. So these are predictions, and even 2009 we were neck to neck with according to the polls, but we won again very well in 2009. So these polls can come, but the real issues are the issues out there. I want to ask Nalin Kohli. Today they said that they have put in their manifesto that they're going to enact the Citizenship Amendment Bill. But when the Prime Minister goes to the Northeast, and since Mr. Nalin is in charge of the Northeast, why is he not talking about it? Why is the BJP president?
So that's a separate issue. I want to stay focused on the numbers, and I'm not going to duck the question that Shama Mohammed has said. She says in 2004 the opinion polls got it wrong, and therefore this 50% chance of the BJP getting a majority means very little. And it is correct that as recently as 2016 in the United States, super sharp data number crunchers like Nate Silver got the probability analysis wrong. They have a similar model, they run similar models, they usually get it right, but there is, as you say, that 10% chance that you get it wrong. So let me ask Rajiv Karandikar this. First, the polls went wrong in 2004, that's correct. I can say that there's a lot of evolution in Indian polling since then, and if you look at recent track records, even when it comes to a small municipal election like the BMC or a small state like the northeastern states, we've got it right. So things have changed since then, but it is correct in 2016 with all the sophisticated polling someone like Nate Silver did, he still got it wrong. So how confident are you that this could be right? And when people look at this, they say, "Pehle bhi to galat hua hai na, boss?"
पहले भी गलत भी हुआ है और सही भी हुआ है. Both have happened.
No, but I must say that with the agency that we're working with right now, out of the 31 polls that they've done, 28 have been right. So if you're a student of mathematics and statistics, 28 out of 31 is a very high chance of getting it right. Rajiv.
Yes. So I would look at it this way, that it can be wrong. Certainly this is not the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. This is giving you a snapshot of the mood of the nation as of now, as seen through our polls. It could be wrong, it could be biased, but biased, not motivated. Okay,
of course.
So it is not the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, but it is giving us an indication of and it is better than 5 experts saying that which way the wind is blowing. At least we have, this one is a survey based on
1,75,000 votes.
It's better than.
Okay, Sanjay Kumar, you need to respond to this. This is a question that changes pathologists. You're doing a big CSDS poll. You've got certain numbers of what you think the BJP and the NDA will get. You think Modi is coming back to power. Shama Mohammed throws a data grenade at you. Says, boss, you were wrong in 2004. Not you personally, but all pathologists.
Yes, 2004 is still hanging large on all the pollsters. I don't know how to explain why everybody got wrong in 2004, but you have already explained that things have changed, and remember what Rajiv Karandikar has already mentioned. This poll is only indicating the mood of the people as of 7th of April, 8th of April. This is not suggesting in any way, this is how I interpret these data. This is not suggesting that this is going to be the result on 23rd of May. This only is a reflection of how things stands now. And the way Rajiv Karandikar has worked on the probability, Nilanjan has already indicated about that. There is a big challenge. This is not based on the question of which party are you likely to vote for. This is an extrapolation from a proxy question which has been asked. Whom do you want to see as your next Prime Minister?
Okay, Nilanjan Sarkar, this is a question that all election analysts must deal with all the sophisticated polling tools and far lesser complexity in the United States. Every single analyst, or most analysts except the Mavericks, got Donald Trump's presidential election wrong. Everybody thought sitting in the US that Hillary Clinton is going to win, and she didn't in the end. So probability analysis is very fancy, very intricate, very finessed, but when it goes wrong, it looks really bad for everyone.
That's right. So just very quickly, in the United States, one of the interesting problems, and just to throw another problem there, on aggregate, the vote share percentage predictions were actually not too far off. Where the analysts got it wrong is they didn't know where the vote shares were coming from. So what they missed was that in the state of Ohio, there was going to be a much greater vote share for Donald Trump than they thought, and it balanced out in a state like California, right? So that's an extra problem that we have here, which is we don't need to just think about states, we need to think about regions, and within regions, constituencies. So there are lots of ways in which the vote share can fall that can very strongly affect how the vote share converts into seat share. The other thing that I would quickly say is that there's an extra challenge in the Indian context. In most of the Western context, when someone doesn't want to tell you who they're voting for, they simply won't answer the question. In India, and I think Sanjayji would agree with this, one of the problems you have is that you actually often have people who will lie. They're going to vote for BJP, but they'll say I'm voting for Congress when they respond to the survey for various local reasons, or they don't want to give their information. That puts a lot of challenge.
You think that's true that people lie?
No, I never buy this argument that people lie. I find no reason why people
That's just an excuse pollsters make if they get it wrong. Anyway, I want to ask Nalin Kohli this one question before I take the next set of data on our screen. The 2004, the media was rara. Everybody thought that Atal Bihari Vajpayee is coming back to power. Sonia Gandhi was the foreign politician, and yet Sonia Gandhi won. So there have been times when pollsters have gone wrong. I personally didn't do the poll, but that's really no explanation. The institution did a poll, and therefore that number still haunts us and is absolutely correct. The question needs to be answered. And is that a fear that you have, that all these probability analysis, you can take an hour to explain how complicated and intricate your designs are? In the end, if they go wrong, they look really silly and wrong.
Well, if you had heard actually Rahul, if you notice my first answer was that's why a political answer. We also accept these are only indicators of a mood. Campaigning is just about ended for the first phase. There are another 6 phases to go. I'm going by what we see in Prime Minister Modi's rallies. I mean, 2 days ago, yesterday, we had a massive rally in Imphal. Huge. And the kind of response was there. The Prime Minister came an hour late because his other rallies got elongated. But the crowd stayed on till evening. They were there for more than 4.5 hours. And yet it was enthusiastic and packed. So therefore, we are talking in terms of a political response. Certainly, I think you've answered in terms of psephology that there's been an evolution. I can give an example of how the Congress got 2004 wrong. After the results, they kept saying India shining did the BJP in. We did our analysis, and the fact is we lost in all the cities and won all our votes in rural areas, including SC, ST and other votes. Okay, so therefore, India shining,
I don't agree.
The argument that the Congress has used for a decade and a half has no foundation in facts.
I don't agree.
I want to show you now the probability of the Mahagathbandhan coming to power. The same model, Rajiv Karandikar then worked the numbers the other way around and said, if this is the data coming through in the Access My India Today Group political stock exchange, what then is the chance of the Mahagathbandhan getting a majority? And I just want to explain. So we've taken the numbers that we are picking up for the UPA. We've added to this the numbers that we've got for the Samajwadi Party, the Bahujan Samaj Party, the RLD, the Trinamool Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, TDP, Left and Independent. So we've put a UPA together. It doesn't exist at this moment, but they've broadly indicated that they're willing to do business. So we've added all of them up and said, if all these parties come together and form a UPA 3, what then is the chance of the UPA coming to power? So let's have those numbers out on our screen right now. I want to take first the possibility of the Mahagathbandhan getting a majority by itself. The chance of the Mahagathbandhan getting a majority, that's all these parties taken together, if they were to agree to do business after the 23rd of May, there is, according to Rajiv Karandikar, a 16% chance that these parties will be able to form a government if they were to get together. 16% chance of the Mahagathbandhan getting a majority. If you look at the chance of the Mahagathbandhan getting close to 250, and that's where they can then pull in a BJD, they can pull in a YSRCP or a TRS. There is, according to the extrapolation done by Rajiv Karandikar, a 34% chance of the Mahagathbandhan getting to 50. Now, Rajiv Karandikar, 34% is 1 in 3. 1 in 3 is not bad, which means it's still game on. Chances are, like if you think of it as an India-Australia match, chances are you're going to win, but there's a chance that Australia could do well. 34 is 1 in 3, that's not so bad.
Yes, but that's what the data says, at least according to me. Most others may not agree with this number, they may think the chance is lower, but my reading of the data says this.
Nilanjan Sarkar, 34% chance of the UPA, the Mahagathbandhan 3, getting about 250 odd seats. That's not so bad. If they get 250 seats, they will find the BJD, the YSRCP, the TRS. That's a best case scenario for all these parties. They'd love to have 250 kind of situation. What's your sense of these numbers? Nilanjan Sarkar.
I actually also agree. I mean, I think when you can see what's happening when you think of the first set of numbers. Once the NDA drops below the majority, somebody's getting that vote share. Now, most of the parties you name, the Mahagathbandhan parties, are going to be the parties that suck up most of that other vote share, right? So the moment that the NDA drops below a majority, there's a very good chance the Mahagathbandhan is also winning a significantly large number of seats, UPA plus some of these other parties. So I think that's what we're seeing, right? Which is, at the end of the day, if there's a 50% chance of the NDA crossing the majority mark, there's a 50% chance that it isn't. And the moment that it isn't, there's a chance that the Mahagathbandhan can be a serious player.
Sanjay Kumar doesn't agree with this. You're saying you're not fully in agreement with...
I thought I will extend the argument a little bit. You gave an example of Australia and India. I would say if the match is being held in Australia, the probability goes down. If the match is being held in India, the probability of India winning goes up. You also have to look at where is the match being played, how is the political climate, what Nalinji was hinting. The political climate, the way contest is going on, I think the possibility, the probability of Mahagathbandhan coming close to a majority or even getting 250 is very low. It's like India playing in Australia.
Okay, so the Mahagathbandhan winning in May is like India beating Australia in Australia. It happened recently, so it's not as if it can't happen. It happened, but it's not commonplace for this to happen. Nalin Kohli, you'd have to get a lot of things wrong. I like this interplay between cricket and politics, two of India's pet passions, where the possibility of the UPA coming back to power exists. 1 in 3 isn't bad. 1 in 3 isn't a bad possibility, so it's not as if it's all lost for the UPA at this moment.
But remember, we have added things who are parties which are fighting with each other.
At this moment.
We have added
no, but it's pretty certain that they'll come together. Let Nalin Kohli.
Essentially, other than TRS and BJD, we have added up everybody.
Nalin Kohli.
Well, I think first is, in a mathematical exercise, in effect, everyone else is being added up. But I think if I use the cricket analogy, first of all, it seems highly unlikely, but more or less it's clear that the two teams that are playing is the BJP and the Mahagathbandhan minus the Congress. So the Congress is in the spectator gallery. So I think that just really talks about the political irrelevance of the Congress, if at all. You're not talking of a 34% chance of the Congress leading a government as an alternative. And that's been the fundamental point that I pointed in my first question, that there is no alternative also. That when you look at the track record of Narendra Modi ji's government, when you look at his leadership and the clarity of it, when you look at it in terms of performance, and then you look at the alternative, that there is no unified alternative, it's state-wise if at all. The Congress is not even a player in some of those states by the reckoning of, say, Uttar Pradesh, where they don't even want them part of an alliance. So in all of it, it talks of the political irrelevance. So therefore, your own data seems to be indicating that if at all it is BJP led by Prime Minister Modi and the NDA, and on the other side you have the other parties just put together, and the Congress is not really that fulcrum of that.
Okay, Shama Mohammed, which essentially means, to extend that cricketing parlance, everything that can go wrong for the BJP must go wrong, and everything that can possibly go right for all these Gathbandhan parties need to go right. if you are to come to power, because there's only a 1 in 3 chance of the Mahagathbandhan crossing 250, and Rajiv Karandikar has been very generous and he's added the likes of Kejriwal, Mamata Banerjee, who at this moment haven't officially indicated that they're willing to do business with Rahul Gandhi.
Please, Rahul, can you give me some time, because I've heard Nalin speak again and again and I need to rebut to what he has said. Now, a couple of points over here is that he keeps saying that we are not involved in the Mahagathbandhan. Yes, we are there. There are many of them, and I don't want to call it a Mahagathbandhan. I would call it alliance. That's what we used to call it. We are there in couple of states. We are in certain states, of course, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let's not forget, in 2004, there was no pre-poll alliance with Samajwadi or the BSP, but we have had post-poll alliance with them. So there are different ways of things happening. In 2017, when the election, I mean not last year, when the Gorakhpur and the Phulpur seats, Gorakhpur is a seat of Mr. Adityanath. He had won it before many times, but he lost when the BJP is at the center. BJP is also in the state, but they lost it when the BSP and the Samajwadi came together. And in Kairana, the Congress party was also there. They lost it over there. So always alliances can make a difference, whether it's pre-poll or post-poll. So whatever these numbers are saying is something altogether. And one of the things which Mr. Karandikar said out there, Mr. Rajiv Karandikar, is that he came out with one word which I registered in my mind, is that these things can be biased. He said it himself. So yes, there is going to be a bias here showing these polls out there, and we should take it with a pinch of salt, and let's wait for the real results. So that's what there can be. Pre-poll alliances, one thing which happens, and there's post-poll alliances. So what I see out here is the ground reality. Again, one more correction to Mr. Nalin Kohli. In 2004, what analysis we did is the Bharatiya Janata Party lost in the rural areas. It is the farmers which made the Bharatiya Janata Party lose, or the NDA. So this is what's going to happen right now, because the farmer distress is huge in India, and let's not forget the 70%.
Lots of number crunching, which we still need to put out. We're going to get you a net satisfaction index. If you look at those who are satisfied, subtract those who are dissatisfied, you get a broad sense of how people perceive the government in every state. So we will show you which are the states where the Modi government is most favorably perceived vis-a-vis the number of those states where the government has the highest level of dissatisfaction. So where are they strong, where are they weak? Wherever they're strong, they're likely to do well. Quite naturally, as a corollary of that, wherever they are not perceived well, naturally the NDA is likely to do badly. We will also do a poll of polls. So we will look at all the data that's come out through the multiple opinion polls, and we'll try and do a poll of polls for votes and for seats to give you the cumulative sense of what all these poll pundits think. Welcome back. You're watching the India Today group, Access My India Political Stock Exchange. What we are going to do on this week's PSE for a moment is show you a poll of polls. Look at all the opinion polls. Remember, today is the last day these opinion polls can be shown. Tomorrow is when campaigning ends, and therefore this is a good moment to look at what all the other pollsters have done as well. So I'll start by showing you some of the latest polls, then we'll average them. I'm not a great believer in poll of polls because you don't really get any mathematical refined data, but you get a broad sense. Mota mota, what does it tell you? That's that's always good to get from a poll of polls. So here it is on your screen. Jan Ki Baat projects that the NDA will get 310, the UP at 122, others at 111. Then there is C Voter, which projects that NDA will get 261, UPA will get 143, others will get 139. Then there is VMR, which projects that NDA will get 283, UPA will get 135, others will get 125. Then there is the News Nation poll, which says that NDA will get 273, UPA will get 133, others will get 137. There is the C Voter poll, which says NDA 264, UPA 141, others 138. The CNX poll says NDA 285, UPA 126, others 132. Z says 264 for NDA, 165 for UPA, others at 114. So let's now average out all these numbers. It's a very rough exercise, but it just gives you a sense of what people really want to know. What are the pollsters thinking mota mota? So mota mota, the poll of polls average is NDA at 277, which means 5 more than the majority. The NDA in its current avatar is projected to get by itself. The UPA at 138, others at 128. That's the mota mota poll of polls. Let me show you now the vote share and seat share comparison, because that's important as well. Here VMR projects 40% vote share for the NDA, 31 for the UPA, 29 for others, C voter also projects 41 for NDA, 31 for others, 28 for 31 for UPA, 28 for others. C voter projects for Republic TV 41 for NDA, 31 for UPA, 28 for others, and poll of polls is 41, 31, 28. That's like pretty standard. Why all these polls are interesting when taken together? It shows that all pollsters are generally saying the wind is blowing in the same direction. It's not as if pollsters are, there are not too many outlier polls. One poll suggests a 300 plus lead for the BJP. The others are saying that mota mota the UPA is not coming back to power. The NDA seems to be coming back to power. That's the broad sense. Rajiv Karandikar, what could change from here? That's the critical question.
So we have seen in the past, 20 years ago, we actually with CSDS, we had done a poll, pre-poll and post-poll, and had seen a huge change. So things can change, and what can cause the change is statements from the two sides may drive away voters, or some other events. 20 years ago, there was a blast in Coimbatore which really changed the way Tamil Nadu voted. So there could be events, there could be statements. And the other thing would be, let's say the Nyaya scheme, more people may get to know and may react to that. Things like that can happen, that can change.
Sanjay Kumar, according to you, because this is a situation where all the polls are directionally suggesting the same thing. It's not as if anybody else who's going out and doing any polling is coming back with different results. What could change?
So as of today, yes, there is a clear indication that NDA is ahead, decisively ahead of UPA. But your question is, can this change? There is always a possibility. There is still 1 day for campaigning for the first phase of poll, and we are left with almost a month, more than a month for campaigning for the next 6 rounds. So things can change, but things will change only if there is a big event which might take place between.
What according to you electorally constitutes a big event?
No, big event in a sense, some statement goes wrong. I won't be able to quantify.
Can statements change outcome?
It does. I think it happened in Bihar at the time of assembly
This
election.
is Bhagwatji's comment on reservation.
Yes, it also happened in Gujarat, in my opinion, because when we were doing the tracker in Gujarat assembly election.
This is when Sonia Gandhi said Maut ka sauda.
No. The recent one, when we saw BJP and Congress very close to each other, I'm not saying a statement which is liked or disliked by the people, a statement which is convincing, more convincing. But I think last 10 days of campaign, things changed, and it moved in the direction of BJP's favor. So things can change. There is always a possibility of things changing.
Okay, Nilanjan Sarkar, what according to you can change?
So I think that if we just look at the most recent state elections, they were actually quite difficult for the pollsters to call all 3 states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, because a lot of things are changing quickly on the ground. I mean, we know that we're seeing from your own surveys that economic distress is an issue, agricultural distress is an issue, and we never really know how much anger there is and how it translates in the final vote choice. So it could be that people, when they're responding to a poll, or responding in a way because Prime Minister Modi is extremely well liked, but when they go to the voting booth, they get very upset because they're thinking about their own sort of economic conditions, and they sort of choose the other way. It does happen. And those are the kinds of things we don't know, and those are the kinds of things that the campaigns actually decide quite a bit about.
Okay, but there is also the winner's bandwagon effect, which the BJP would be banking on, that as voters determine after the first phase where the wind is blowing, they like to be on the winning side. Nalin Kohli, is that where the BJP hopes that the might of your campaign machine comes into play? It may not be a runaway sweep at this moment for the BJP, but if people start believing that Narendra Modi is coming back to power, then there is a high percentage of voters who wouldn't like to waste their vote and would likely jump on to what they believe is the winner's bandwagon.
Rahul, look, it's a fair point to say that these are only, probabilities based on number crunching in terms of a mood. The actual result we'll know on the 23rd. But when we look at it, while you are looking at it numbers, I'll be entitled to, as Shama would be entitled to from her perspective, to look at it in terms of how do we see the probabilities. So therefore, how do we go about it? This is an election on Prime Minister Modi. It's an incumbent going for re-election. And this is not an election on a state. It's not a by-poll. Each election in this country, from the bottom, which is at a grassroots level, which may be urban body, to that, each election has its own set of dynamics. We all know that. But in this election, we are looking at an election at the Prime Minister who has a leadership style, a clear leadership style and a charisma that we've seen. And he's campaigning already. So therefore, we are prone to look at it that given his popularity, given his identity, the track record of what he's delivered over the last 5 years, the clarity on strong issues, whether it is on national security, whether it is on developmental platforms, whether it's in terms of doing things that were not conceptualized, from just say financial inclusion or gas connections or whatever. We believe that the voters will have clarity, because one figure I want to share with you, 22 crore people have in a way benefited from one scheme or the other. That's about 20% of India's population, direct beneficiaries. So therefore, delivery has taken place. So we are prone to believe that we are best poised to win. But of course, the voters will decide.
Okay, Shama Mohammed, which is where belief becomes very important. That somehow Rahul Gandhi, the Congress and the UPA need to make voters start believing that the UPA and the Congress are coming back to power. And if voters start believing that the Congress is coming back to power, you could benefit from the winner's bandwagon effect. However, if on the contrary, the belief goes that Modi is running away with this election, that he is likely to win, that's when the Congress could disintegrate and what looks like a decent chance of getting close to 100 could stay less than 100 for the Congress itself.
See, Modi's popularity and everything, give me some time, Rahul. They are not going to be winning this election. Let's remember that 2014, Modi won with a huge bang, you know. It was a very big victory, the Bharatiya Janata Party. But in 2015, on his name, they were campaigning in Bihar and they lost it. So it's about issues at the end of the day. It's not about a single person. It's about what is the ground reality. And the ground reality is the Nyaya scheme. The ground reality is all the promises which were made in 2014, which were never kept. Where is the black money which has come back? Where is employment? Where is Beti Bachao? Where is the petrol prices which were supposed to come down? Look at terrorism. So these are the important issues, the ground and the farmer crisis, like I think Mr. Niranjan spoke about. The farmer crisis is huge, and that is going to let the Bharatiya Janata Party and the NDA down. Another very important point Mr. Nalin Kohli spoke about is disintegration of our allies. Look at them in Northeast. Their NPP has gone away because of the Citizenship Amendment Bill. I want Nalin Kohli, I want to ask him, why is Prime Minister Modi, who has put it in his manifesto that they're going to enact the Citizenship Amendment Bill, not speaking a word about it
so
in
we'll
their
have to do that in another show. I can't allow you to come and disrupt this show. This is about number. You want to have a separate debate on Citizenship Bill. I will have it separately. This is not the forum. Here people who are watching are interested in the number. I will not allow any spokesperson to derail this. A fader goes down by going off on a tangent which is not relevant to what we're discussing. Nalin Kohli, just 10 seconds to counter, because she said it the second time, but that's not what I'm interested in this show.
Yes, just to get the facts right, that the BJP and the NPP are in government both in Manipur and in Meghalaya. In Meghalaya, we are the constituents in an NPP-led government. In Meghalaya, in Meghalaya, the NPP runs the government, we are constituents, and in Manipur, we run the government and the NPP.
Okay, so I want to come back to the data. Let's stay focused on data. Data is important. That's what people want to know. If you can't respond with data, don't give us rhetoric. Stay away from the political stock exchange. I'm very clear about that. Okay, I want to show our viewers now the net satisfaction index. Let me explain what we are doing. We've used the political stock exchange data. We've looked at all those who are telling us they're satisfied with the government. We've subtracted from that all those who are telling us they're dissatisfied with the government, and we come up with a net satisfaction government, state by state net satisfaction index for the Modi government in every state. This will tell you where the government is most popular. It will also tell you where the government is least popular. You can be assumed that wherever the government is least popular is where the NDA is least likely to do well. So if we subtract those who are dissatisfied from those who are satisfied, the highest satisfaction for the NDA government is in Himachal Pradesh, where there's a positive 36% telling us they like what the Prime Minister and his government have done. Second is Odisha. Odisha is important because this is where the BJP is hoping to make gains. It's one place where the satisfaction is really high, the dissatisfaction really low. 34% net satisfaction, which is positive in Odisha. In Rajasthan, where the UPA, where the Congress won in December, net satisfaction with the Modi Sarkar very high. Then Gujarat, where there's a tight fight, but it seems that this is one of the states where the satisfaction levels are very high, a 26% positive satisfaction level here. Uttar Pradesh, which is hugely consequential, and this is very important, a 26% net satisfaction in the positive for the BJP in Uttar Pradesh. That is very crucial. In Haryana, 26% net satisfaction, which is positive. Madhya Pradesh also 36% net positive satisfaction, which is very crucial because that's also a Congress government. In Karnataka, again, very crucial this because there is a JDS and Congress alliance, which will impact how the votes are counted in each seat. But net, people seem to like the Modi government in Karnataka. Then there is West Bengal, which is interesting because here, if people perceive the central government as having done well, it could lead to some dividends for the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections. Then there is Maharashtra, where the NCP and the Congress are fighting in alliance against the BJP Shiv Sena. But this is the 10th state with the highest positive net satisfaction level. I want to now flip this and show you the states where the satisfaction level is in the negative, where those who are dissatisfied outnumber those who are satisfied. And where is that the most? The most is in Kerala. 44% is the negative satisfaction level in Kerala, which means those who are dissatisfied are way more than those who are satisfied with the Modi government in Kerala. Then there is Tamil Nadu at 36%, where again, like Kerala, very high dissatisfaction with the Modi Sarkar. So all those alliances they've stitched up in Tamil Nadu aren't going to amount to very much, it seems. Punjab, net dissatisfaction at -10. That's crucial because the Congress can hope to do well in Punjab. No wonder they don't want to give many seats away to the Aam Aadmi Party. In Telangana as well, the net dissatisfaction is in the negative. However, here the benefits will accrue to the TRS, not so much to the Congress, but to the regional player, the incumbent TRS. And in Andhra Pradesh, the level of people who are satisfied and dissatisfied is the same. It's 0, but essentially indicating that the level of dissatisfaction is pretty high. That's very interesting there. There's some interesting states there, Sanjay Kumar. States like UP, where it's very reassuring for the BJP and supporters that the net satisfaction is so high. States like Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, where they lost, important that net satisfaction is high. And also Odisha, where they hope to make some gains. Sanjay.
Three kinds of trend. Let me first pick up the states where net satisfaction is in the minus. This is a reflection of the support base of political party in that state. BJP is hardly present in most of these states and people are not voting for BJP. That's why the net satisfaction with central government is in the minus. Look at another set of states, the Hindi heartland state. Even if people may not be very happy with the state government, and this is a mention to UP, but there is a kind of euphoria in favor of Prime Minister Modi. People want to vote for Modi. People want to elect a strong government in their own language, what they mean about strong government, and that is why the net satisfaction with the central government is high in Hindi heartland state, which includes
which is
UP,
very crucial for the BJP.
Which is very crucial for the BJP, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, UP, and look at another sets of state which includes Odisha and West Bengal in particular. These are the states where BJP is making inroads, and that is why people are looking forward to voting BJP.
And the data reflects that there will be some inroads. How much it converts into seats, we can't say at this moment.
That BJP has been able to make some inroads in West Bengal and Odisha. That is why we see a reasonable net satisfaction level with central government's performance.
Final words, Rajiv Karandikar.
Yeah, let me just take 1 minute to explain the word bias which I used. What I meant was that this is telephonic survey, and telephonic survey by its very nature could have a little bias built in. But they clarified then too.
But that's also changing with digital penetration and the fact that there are so many more mobile phones in rural India. The bias is lesser than earlier.
So on,
but sure.
Yeah, that's all I meant by bias.
Every poll has its limitations and no poll is perfect, but it's way better than going by the Satta Bazaar or doing a tarot or asking some Panditji who's winning. All polls are fallible and some of the most sophisticated polls have got numbers wrong. But this is a very broad, very finessed, very sophisticated sense of what we believe is happening. We, of course, will track this and also track the changes from here on. Who's able to instill belief? That belief, to my mind personally, is crucial. If people start believing a particular party is winning, then some of the numbers will in the end be bigger than what the polls at the starting point are capturing. They're capturing the mood now. As anybody starts believing that X or Y, whoever that X or Y may be, is doing well, there will be a ripple effect. We've seen it in multiple polls. It's pretty clear that that will happen again. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Lots of very interesting number crunching. Rajiv Karandikar, it will be interesting to see how much of this is correct. As always, if we get it right, Remember, you saw it on India Today, and this is the political stock exchange. If you got it wrong, then that's Rajiv Karandikar. It's entirely his fault. I'm only kidding. It's a collective responsibility. Thank you very much for joining us, Nilanjan Sarkar, Nalin Kohli, Shama Mohammad, Rajiv Karandikar and Sanjay Kumar for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you very much. We'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.